Okay, very good morning, guys. Very good morning. So, welcome to our fresh session. So, in this session, we will discuss what is the methodology used by top 50. I don't say 100, top 50 rankers in NEET PG. So what is actually the methodology used by them to secure the top 50 ranks in the NEET PG? That methodology is called the Bliss block methodology. The Bliss block method. Most of the toppers don't know this, but this is one of the most controversial as well as one of the most secret and as well as one of the most accurate method which will rush you towards the top 50 ranks, right? Most of the toppers will not say this method, right? Someone will call it as a chain method, someone will call it as a blocker method, someone will call it as a tram method. So actually, but most of the one famous method is the Bliss block method. So what is this method? Today we will discuss how, in which pattern you should solve the questions. Don't blindly just go on solving each and every question in the exam. It's not like that. It has a special thing that you should follow before doing all these things. Now let us go into this method, how you will do it, right? As soon as you start the examination, so how you will go? Actually, you should follow two patterns, two things you have to keep it in mind. So first one is whether the question is long or short. That's the one. And the second one is whether the question is very much well known by you. That is, it's a previous topic, or it is a well-known topic, or it is something like, it's this topic has been revised by you for multiple times. That is the topic which is been done by you for multiple revisions. So as soon as you get an MCQ, you should check these two criteria. First one is whether it is long or short. If it is long, for example, if the MCQ is long, I will just write here. Wait, we'll just write it as a what is that logarithm. We'll just write it as a flowchart. Okay, we'll just erase it. Guys, listen this video very carefully. Don't miss any one statement also. If you miss one statement, you will miss the whole flow. You will miss the whole phenomenon actually. Okay, so you will first check the two scenarios. First one, whether the question is long or short. Second one is whether the question is a direct question, or it is a well-known question, or if it is a very much topic that you have done a multiple revisions. So if the first you should see whether it is long or short. For example, if the question is a long question, then you go for direct or indirect. Okay, if the question is a long question, then you go for direct question or well-known question, or it's a multiple revision question, right? Now if it is a direct question, or if it is a well-known question, or if it is a topic which you have revised for multiple times, you read the complete question and try to attempt the MCQ. Okay, now for example, if the question is a short question, no need to check all these parameters. You just accept the question and you just spend some time for the question, even though you did not go for this criteria, that is whether it is direct or well-known or whatever. You just, as soon as the question is short means something like it is a 3 lines question. Long means which is more than 3 lines. Which is more than 3 lines. Short means which is less than 3 lines. So we less than or equal to 3 lines. So if it is short, you directly just read the question and try to attempt it. If you are well known with it or not, but still try to attempt it, because short questions always mostly it is well known by you. Remember, because short questions are always will be direct questions, or it is a multiple revised topic question only. Why? Because you will never get a question that is very much awkward or very much unknown to you. Why? Because if you have really studied, if you have really made a good preparation, nearly 98% of the short questions which you get in the examination will be known by you. So directly go for the attempt. Now, for example, if it is a long question but it is not well known, or it is not a direct question, or it is not at all seen by you, then what you will do? Simply you go for next question. Don't attempt the question. You go for next question. Don't try to attempt that MCQ. Why? Because if your subconscious says like it is not a direct question, it's not a well-known question, it's not even a topic which you have devised multiple times, then obviously that MCQ is something which is a tongue twister, or you can say it's a mind twister. So obviously you should not try to waste your time in this question. You simply go for the next question. You got it or not? Got it or not, everyone? Okay. Now we will write the write this clearly here. Okay, we will just write it clearly here. Oops. Right. So now, if an MCQ is given, first you have to describe whether it is long or short. And one more criteria is you have to decide whether it is well-known topic, or already you have revised that one or not. If it is long, what you will do? You will go to here. Now, if it is well known, you will just, if it is well known topic, then you try to attempt it. But if it is not known to you, you just simply go to next MCQ. That's it. Simply go to next MCQ. But if it is a short question, don't even try to think about whether it is well known or revised. You try to attempt it. Just you try to attempt it, because short questions always you can attempt it. Now we will discuss about one more thing. For example, if it is an image MCQ, how will you solve it? If it is an image MCQ, always first try to recognize the image. Don't go for the options. That is my sincere request. Try to recognize the image. Don't go for options. Please don't see the options. That is my sincere request, because our mind always tries to confuse us. So first to recognize the image. And for example, if an image was given regarding the ovarian artery, right? What you do is you just try to analyze the topics which comes to your mind instantaneously regarding ovarian artery. For example, the tissues which are supplied by ovarian artery, the anomalies which occur if there is blockage of ovarian artery, and the ligation that should be done if any surgery is performed near the ovarian artery, and very importantly the anatomical aspects and the landmarks of ovarian artery. These three components should spontaneously spark in your mind if, for example, an example like ovarian artery related image is given. Now, then you go for the question and you study the question completely. For example, the question is like accidental resection of ovarian artery occurs in which condition? For example, that MCQ was like that. If you have the anatomical aspect perfectly, if you have the ligation aspect of the ovarian artery perfectly, then you can easily solve the MCQ. So that is why I am saying first try to recognize the MCQ, and obviously recognition means what you should do. For example, an image was given regarding recurrent laryngeal nerve. You just try to take all the anatomical aspects, take all the medical aspects, take all the abnormal aspects. If any surgical resection was done, so like that, all these aspects of that recurrent laryngeal nerve should spark in your mind. You should just spark like that. Then you study the question, you read the question. Trust me, it will work 99.9% for you. If you got all this information regarding this recurrent laryngeal nerve, as soon as you see the image, then when you go to MCQ after that, if you try to read the MCQ after that, then you go to the options, then trust me, in the first attempt only you will mark the right option. You will mark the right option. That is my guarantee. Right? But what most of the doctors will do, what most of the aspirants will do, I will explain now. See, that is a blind mistake. Most of the doctors do that mistake. I have seen multiple times. Most of the doctors have said this thing, right? What they do is they see the image. See. Sorry. They don't even see the image. They don't even see the image. They don't even see the image. And what they do is they simply read the MCQ. They simply read the MCQ. What will happen then? What will happen? See, for example, the MCQ was given regarding the, the MCQ was given regarding the complications of thyroidectomy. For example, we will think like that. The MCQ is given complications of thyroidectomy. Now, what will happen? You will get all the concepts of thyroidectomy. The incision given in thyroidectomy, the anatomical aspects of thyroidectomy, the pathological aspects where thyroidectomy is done, what are the complications of thyroidectomy. But after thyroidectomy, if the examiner asks you, actually the examiner is asking you about, you just recognize the structure which is given beside the thyroid with the option B. Then obviously you will mark the answer wrong. Why? Because here the examiner tries to question your anatomical aspect revision, how your anatomical aspects are, how perfect you are in anatomy. But what you are reading in the MCQ, you are reading all sort of surgical aspects. Yes, anatomy is a part of surgery, I know that. But what I am trying to say is, even though anatomy is a part of surgery, most of the doctors, 99%, see, that is what makes the 1% from the 99%. That is what makes the 1% different from the rest of the 99%. The 1% students or the 1% toppers, they follow this method. What they do is they first recognize the image. They don't go for MCQ. This is wrong. They don't go for MCQ. Don't read the MCQ first. You first recognize the image. You first recognize it. See, I will write a pattern here. Wait, I will just write a logarithm here. Wait. See, First you recognize the image. First you recognize the image. Then you retrieve all the information present in your mind regarding that image. See, roughly, I'm not saying it pinpoint perfectly. Roughly you retrieve the information. For example, the image was depicted about, you say it like the image was given about Whipple's resection. Whipple's resection. Now what you will just try to retrieve in the mind, for what condition you will do Whipple's resection, for what condition. Now what are the structures that are removed in the Whipple's resection, what are the complications of Whipple's resection, and finally what is the diagram which you have seen previously regarding Whipple's resection. Now this one, don't think like, sir, there are multiple conditions you are specifying here, the condition, the structures, the complications, and the diagram. And see, this might look like 3-4 conditions, but your mind will spark it within 20 seconds. Trust me, within 20 seconds. 20 seconds might look like so much time, but still it is worth the time. Within 10 to 15 seconds, your mind will just spark it. Then you go for the MCQ. Then you read the MCQ. Right? Now read the MCQ. Even after reading the MCQ, then you go for the options. Right? Now that is how you go with the image based MCQ. Now, for example, if the question was an integrated question, say something like the question was an integrated question, integrated between what? For example, say it like anatomy plus surgery. So now which aspect should be retrieved first, whether it is anatomy or surgery? Always try to retrieve the aspect with the previous years. That means always try to retrieve anatomy, because anatomy is previous than for surgery, because anatomy is from first year, surgery is from final year. For example, if the integration is given with ENT plus medicine, try to retrieve the ENT information rather than medicine. Why? I will tell you why. Because for example, if the subject was given SPM plus, you take like forensic. So SPM forensic will not be given, but you take it like SPM plus gynec. You retrieve the SPM information first, then go for gynec. If an integrated question is given like that, you follow this rule, means the previous rule, that is called as the previous rule. For example, you was given with a biochemistry plus take like pathology. Now what you will select? Go for biochem only. Now why this previous rule? Why this previous rule? See, the main reason for going to previous rule is our mind is something which slowly forgets everything which we read. Obviously it will try to forget once it becomes old. And once it becomes an old memory, our mind tries to forget it, because in order to clear the garbage in our mind. So what they do is they clear the old memories. It's something like computer. Now for example, if you read a topic in biochemistry, obviously by the time you come for the final year, ultimately you will forget the topic. Why all those things? I will tell you one fact for simple. If you read pathology and if you finished your second year, now if you go to third year, now if you are about to write your SPM final examination, if someone asks you the pathology topics, you cannot tell. Why you can't tell? Because yes, see, if you ask me about solid topics, everybody can tell. But if they ask you some pinpoint topics, very pinpoint, or you can call them like, they are like volatile topics. Yes, they are volatile topics. Then obviously, even if you have studied recently 1 year back also, you cannot remember. That is our nature of mind. It's not the problem with ourselves. Our mind is designed like that. So That is why if it is an integrated question, my sincere request to all the doctors is always approach in the previous way, or approach with the help of the previous rule. I am telling you this multiple times. Even one of the toppers as well as myself, I had applied this rule in the in the PG examination. The previous rule, always. For example, you were given with an anatomy plus surgery orientation. Anatomy, you just try to remember. Anatomy, you just try to retrieve first. Then you go for surgery. Why? Because surgery is something which you read in final year. So obviously you can remember almost entire concepts of it. But anatomy, you have read this anatomy some years old. So in order to retrieve all that, you should just mug up through all those things. So it's better to remember or retrieve the information related to anatomy first, followed by surgery. Now, sir, what about the questions if we are completely blind? For example, you got a blind question. Blind question means something which you have never listened in your life, never heard in your life. Something which you have never heard in your life. Now, if this type of a question comes, how to attempt it? But this depends on the question paper itself. Why I will tell? It depends on the question paper. Why? Because after, see, and one more thing regarding blind questions, always keep at last. Always. Some of the doctors may say like, or some of the professionals may say like, no, you finish the blind questions, they might look like blind questions, but still you know the answer. It will be somewhere hidden in your mind. See, I will tell you one thing, beta. Beta, I will tell you one thing. If it is such a sort of question that if you just try to search in your memory, it might get retrieved. If it is such a sort of question, obviously, even though it looks like a blind question, you will have the first look sincere feeling like, I have read this somewhere, your mind will get. But you will not get a feeling like, I have never heard this word. You will not get that type of feeling. But if you get a feeling like, I have never heard this word, then obviously it is completely blind question. Even though so many people say like, if you just sit for 2 minutes, you will get the answer. No, that won't happen. That won't happen. Blind questions are like that. If you had never heard in your life, always try to avoid it. Try to avoid it. If you have never learned in your life, never heard in your life, just try to avoid that question. But if you ask me, sir, I want to attempt it. I want to just get my marks at the cutting edge. So I just want to attempt it. If you ask me like that, then you can follow one rule. See, it all depends on the question paper. For example, if the question paper is okay for you, I'm not saying easy. I'm saying okay for you. That means you can score enough of marks that can grab you a good seat in a college. Then you try to analyze that question. Analyze means what? I am not asking you to break down the question into different parts and analyze. No. Analyze the question means you go through the options. You just look through the options and try to make a scenario out of the options. That means, is there any relation between these options? For example, regarding the options, always believe in one thing, that these options are always relatable. Most of the times. Relatable either in anatomical aspect or a pathological aspect or a medical aspect. In either one, or even physiological aspect of it. In either one of these things, obviously the options given in MCQs will be relatable. They will not give completely unrelatable options. Why? Because if they have given completely unrelatable options, then obviously you can rule out. You can rule out, for example, I will tell you one thing. The sympathetic chain, the sympathetic chain is the not sympathetic chain. The what is that? What I can say? Yes, for example, the sympathetic chain is coming out from, they say, like, for example, lumbar L1, right? Or you say like C1, C2, and S5. See, S5 is unrelatable. You will not get S5 anyway. C1, C2 is also unrelatable. Lumbar, because it is dorso-lumbar. Dorso-lumbar aspect. So, if they give a completely unrelatable topic, then it is very, very, very easy to rule out the options. But if they have given a relatable options, that means which are very close to each other, then there is a high chances that the student might remark the wrong answer. So if the options were relatable, you just check them whether they are anatomically related or pathologically related or medically related or physiologically related. Now, if you have just confirmed in which sort of subject they are relatable, then you can make a scenario or story out of it, and from this you will try to reach the MCQ. Just 1 minute, please stay on the line.